The Royals delight huge crowds at Sydney's Easter show. Generous Victorians dig deep for the Good Friday appeal. And Easter messages of hope from our church leaders.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 News with Jacqueline Felgate.
Good afternoon. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are delighting crowds on day 3 of their Australian tour. The couple has spent the morning at the Royal Easter Show in Sydney. Melissa Doyle has been amongst all the action and joins us now. Mel.
Jackie, hello, good afternoon, nice to see you. Look, it could not have been a more perfect day here in Sydney at the Royal Easter Show. Thousands of people have gathered to see the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. Now, they arrived just over an hour ago. They walked directly past here where I am now. At the moment, the Royal Vehicle Convoy is down the other end of this road, and they're running about 15 minutes behind schedule. William and Kate are spending a little bit of extra time wandering through the crowds, meeting and greeting and shaking hands. Now, when they first arrived, they went immediately into the produce pavilion and then spent a little bit of time in the craft pavilion, talking to students, talking to their teachers, seeing some of the beautiful work. One of the big things about the Sydney Royal Easter Show is the whole city meeting country. So they're very, very proud here of the produce displays that we see every year. Now, from there, they made their way outside, and it was about a 150-metre walk from that pavilion directly past me, heading down towards the sheep pavilion. Now, you probably hear the rumble behind me. The police motorbikes have just kicked in, which is an indication that the convoy is just about to begin. So William and Kate, it was a fairly quick walk past the crowds into the sheep pavilion, where they met the winner of the Wool for School program last year and saw a beautiful dress that was designed especially for the Duchess. Inside, they spent a little bit of time having a look at our fine merino sheep, chatting to farmers, finding all about our wool growing. Of course, William being a very certainly in with the agriculture. Now, if you can take the shot of me now, we're live. You can see the convoy is coming past me. So William and Kate have spent quite a bit of time meeting children, shaking hands. They're running about 10 or 15 minutes behind schedule, as I say. It's quite an extensive convoy of vehicles to bring them out. There they go. There you go, she waved.
Get a bit of a wave.
So now they're making their way across Sydney. They're leaving Homebush, which is out sort of slightly towards Western Sydney area. They're making their way right over to the beaches, to Manly Beach. So this afternoon, William and Kate will spend a bit of time at Bear Cottage, which is a hospice for children. They'll meet some patients, their family and staff, and from there down to Manly Beach, where they'll see a surf life-saving display this afternoon. So still a busy afternoon ahead for the royal couple, but now you watch the crowds disperse. Quick as a flash, back to the rides, everything back to normal here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
Thanks so much, Mel. Looks like it's going to be a fantastic day. And back to Melbourne now. A man in his 30s has been stabbed in the chest in Springvale after an alleged dispute over drugs. He was taken to hospital in a serious but stable condition. The alleged offender fled, and police later discovered him hiding at a friend's house nearby. It's believed the pair knew each other. The annual Royal Children's Hospital Good Friday appeal is well underway, aiming to break last year's record amount of $16.4 million. And this year, the appeal has a shiny new home on the Yarra.
The Loyal Army of Volunteers descended on the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre, the new home for the appeal. Victorians from Burwood to Burrumbuttock and beyond urged to support the Royal Children's, a world leader in paediatric care. Karen Weaver has been lending a hand for 47 years.
Because it's my way of helping out the hospital.
I've been coming here for 32 years. I started in the old 3DB building.
But now the appeal has a bigger and brighter forum for the public to access a variety of entertainment throughout the day.
It's just ginormous, isn't it?
The day is a culmination of annual fundraising for hundreds of community groups and organisations, from Baker's Delight serving up a big cheque to construction workers tipping in $112,000 and Dame Elizabeth Murdoch college students raising $63,000, a day when politicians joined forces without argument.
A bit of money for the Royal Children's Hospital, and I asked people to dig deep today and come down to the convention centre.
No politics today.
Absolutely.
And I think we're all much stronger for it. This is a really important day.
The fundraising events are many and varied, from Easter egg hunts to skydiving at Tooradin Airport for Canopy for Kids.
They'll have some sore bottoms after this, but it's all for a fantastic cause.
To the Qantas mystery flights, which have raised more than $2 million over the years. More than 250 country towns are the backbone of the appeal.
From Mildura in the northwest to Malakuta in the southeast, we're everywhere.
The appeal had humble beginnings, started by a group of Sporting Globe journalists back in 1931. Since then, it's grown into a Victorian institution, one that reflects the generous spirit of the state. The overall aim is better care and medical research for our kids, and to beat last year's record total of $16.4 million. The phones are open until midnight. Brendan Donahue, 7 News.
Many Victorians have marked the most solemn day of the Easter weekend with Good Friday church services across the city. Dozens attended Wesley Church in Lonsdale Street before the Way of the Cross, the annual walk to commemorate Jesus' final journey. Church leaders say the Easter message is still relevant today. Pope Francis has washed and kissed the feet of sick and disabled people during his Holy Thursday Easter service. During his sermon, the pontiff said the church must always be a refuge for the poor, homeless and the sick. Earlier, he met worshippers in Vatican Square and let 2 boys have a ride in the Pope-mobile. Bad weather is hampering the desperate search for 282 people, mostly students, missing in South Korea's ferry disaster. So far, 14 bodies have been pulled from the water, but authorities admit there's almost no chance anyone else has survived.
They urge for a response, banging the hull of this stricken vessel, hoping to hear survivors, because this is still a rescue operation. Remarkably, 24 hours earlier, as passengers phoned for help, there was an uneasy calm. They were unaware of how fast they were sinking. An announcement told them to stay where they were because it was less dangerous. And this man, who cowers from the cameras, was the captain, responsible for those on board, who could face a criminal investigation. He says he's sorry, he's ashamed, but he was one of the first to abandon his ship. So this boat took many families to see it for themselves, to be close to where their children could be, alive, trapped inside air pockets. Such frustration at an operation hampered today by rough seas. Even a watching president didn't need the enormity of this disaster pointing out. So efforts must be made for the hundreds still missing, no matter how desperate it appears.
Russia has struck a deal with the United States and the European Union to ease tensions in Ukraine. US President Barack Obama has described the agreement as a glimmer of hope, but warned he doesn't know if Russia can live up to it.
Tensions in Ukraine escalated into gunfire and petrol bomb attacks. 300 pro-Russian separatists attacked a military base. Government troops opened fire, killing 3 of the militants and injuring others. The morning light revealed the carnage and Molotov cocktails left behind. In Geneva, Ukrainian, Russian and American diplomats met for the first time and agreed to some steps toward peace.
All illegal armed groups must be disarmed. That all illegally seized buildings must be returned to their legitimate owners.
But President Obama expressed skepticism.
I don't think we can be sure of anything at this point.
In a rambling 4-hour news conference, Russian leader Vladimir Putin says he has the authority to send troops to Ukraine, even calling the country New Russia. Another deeply worrying development, leaflets being circulated ordering Ukrainian Jews to identify themselves.
This is not just intolerable, it's grotesque. It is beyond unacceptable.
The world hopes for peace, but civil war and racial tensions loom large. Mike Amor, 7 News.
Officials overseeing the search for missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 say an oil slick found in the southern Indian Ocean is not linked to the jet. Search crews made the discovery on Sunday, but lab tests have now ruled out any connection to the plane. The search for its black box will continue over Easter, with an unmanned submarine scanning the ocean floor. Tomorrow marks 6 weeks since the plane disappeared, with 239 people on board. Richmond survived a third quarter Brisbane fight back to win its second game of the season by 43 points. The Tiger victory spoilt the party for Lions legend Jonathan Brown in his 250th game. Michael Felgate has more.
Thanks, Jackie. It certainly was a must-win game for Richmond last night. And while the end margin was 43 points, it was far from impressive. In a mistake-riddled game, Richmond drew away in the final quarter after Brisbane actually hit the lead in the third term. Richmond was led by Jack Revolt, who booted 4 goals, and Trent Cotchin. While for the Lions, it was their skipper playing his 250th game, Jonathan Brown, who stood tall with 4 goals. For Richmond's coach, Damien Hardwick, he was just happy to bank 4 points and another win.
Look, any win away is a crucial win. You know, they're really hard to come away. Competition's so even at the moment. You just got to make sure when you do get the opportunity to bank those points, you do.
Melbourne has certainly been a happy football club this week after its surprise win over Carlton. And this weekend they get the chance for the first time since 2011 to notch back-to-back wins.
Something that we haven't had for a while. 2 opportunities. When Gold Coast are going to come down, they're going to want to come and bounce back as well. And we see this as an opportunity. We're going to have to play well to beat them. But yeah, we see it as a real good opportunity.
And North Melbourne will continue its push today for Good Friday football next year. The entire club will visit the Royal Children's Hospital, and they have started a social media trend with a hashtag GFF for Good Friday footy. And I think with a new CEO next year, this may well be the last footy-free Good Friday.
To the weather now, and if you were up and about early this morning, it was a perfect start to Good Friday, but showers have rolled in. After an overnight low of 14 degrees just after 5, it's been quite a chilly morning. At the moment, it's 16 degrees. On the satellite, patchy cloud is currently centred over central Victoria, and that's creating scattered and widespread showers. We're in for a partly cloudy and wet afternoon, with winds shifting west to southwesterly later in the day. Across Victoria, scattered showers for most areas, with gusty winds, particularly in Gippsland. We can expect similar conditions again tomorrow, with isolated showers in the morning and early afternoon. The weather for the rest of Easter, showers should hold off on Sunday, but we're expecting a possible late shower on Monday with a top of 21 degrees. And we're well on track to beating last year's record amount raised for the Good Friday appeal. Since 9 o'clock this morning, generous Victorians have already raised an incredible $2.2 million for the Royal Children's Hospital. To donate, call 1300 277 325 or visit goodfridayappeal.com.au. Thanks for your company. Have a wonderful Easter. I'll be back with updates later. Stay with us for continued coverage of the Good Friday Appeal.